continue our conversation on whether or not we should give Ford, GM, and Chrysler $25 billion, our tax dollars, to help get them back on solid ground. Here's the number, 1-877-TEL-HLN. Chris Markowski and David Cole, they're on different sides of the issue. There's Chris, he's against the bailout. David's for it. What do you say? Let's get a call in right now. Cookie in Oklahoma. Cookie, for or against? Cookie? Cookie, you with us? I just want to say Cookie 3 times. Let's try one more phone call. David in California. David, you there?
Yeah, I'm totally against this bill. If they want to pay for it, how come our Congress and our senators don't want to pay out of their own pocket? That's my comment, and have a nice day. Okay,
thanks. Let's, David, what about that? I mean, if we did a straw poll, more people are against than they're for it.
Oh, yeah.
Sell them on it.
I think that's generally true, although I'm seeing some data that wants people to understand what the consequences are. They really shift their opinion because the impact rather broadly across the economy is so large.
Give us a quick thumbnail. What is the impact? What is the trickle down?
Well,
we showed some numbers. You give it to us.
2 million plus jobs we would see evaporate. 2 million plus people collecting unemployment, not paying into Social Security, collecting benefits. Potentially we would bankrupt already more than it is the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation just on a pure cash basis until this fog tends to lift a little bit on the credit markets. What it means is that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We could delay this, but
let's get Chris. Chris,
yeah.
How do you rebut that?
You know what? We've got an industry that's basically being run by the government. So why not just turn it into Airbus? We'll just be like Airbus. Because if you think about it this way, you got Cadillac puts out an Escalade. Here's a $90,000 SUV. They decide to make a hybrid out of this thing. Why do they have to do that? They do that because the government says, you know what, your CAFE standards have to be at a certain amount. You know they're going to end up losing money on this vehicle. They admitted they're going to lose money on the Chevy Volt that they're coming out with. Just let the government take the thing over. If they're going to have to mandate all these CAFE standards and all these rules on these companies, they'll never make it. We'll have to bail them out again 10 years from now.
David, what about that? If you go Chapter 11, you reorganize, the big three restart, update their methods, get some fresh ideas in. What's wrong with that?
You know, the big problem, and they've looked at this very carefully, and they've got some significant consumer data that says, yeah, we'll fly an airplane with an airline, we'll buy a pumpkin or a sofa from a bankrupt company, but we're not going to buy a car.
So and we've heard that because GM has said it's not on the table. Basically.
No, it is not on the table. Others have looked at this, and it's just a non-starter, and it really gets ultimately down. This is a very expensive consumer good. And you know what happens to the dealer? What about warranty? What about resale?
Right.
And if there's any option to avoid it, that's what I think makes the most sense.
Okay.
And I can tell you, I don't like it myself.
Right.
This is not my cup of tea, but one of the things, knowing the facts and what the cost is of the alternatives, this actually looks like the best deal.
All right, you buying that argument, Chris?
I think with the strings...
hey, you really want to buy a car from a company that's in bankruptcy?
Well, I don't think Cadillac, I don't think the brand name Cadillac or Lincoln are going to be going anywhere anytime soon, whether they go into bankruptcy or not. I'm just saying, you know what, I want some free market principles involved with these automakers. I want the government out of Detroit saying, okay, if we're going to invest in these companies, then you know what, I don't want Congress meddling with CAFE standards. Let these companies make cars that people want. Allow them to lay people off. Allow them to downsize. Why compete with Honda on the Prius? If Ford makes a great F-150, let them make the best trucks out there available. Don't let them worry about their fleet mileage standards and all these things that make these companies lose.
All right, guys, we're going to have to leave it there. Chris Markowski?
I would agree with that. I wish it were easy to do, though.
All right.
Take care.
David, thanks again. David Cole, Center for Automotive Research. Appreciate it, Chris, as always. Thanks again, guys, and thank you, the viewer. Always love it.